Good evening, everyone. It's good to be back here. Always feel like 10 years younger, maybe 20 years younger every time I come. So, unfortunately, it's been, I think March is the last time that I've been here. It's been a long while, yeah. And so when Tyler asked me last week, he's like, hey, I'm going out of town, or going out of the country, rather, to Haiti. Would you mind teaching for me? And, at first, just like any public speaking event, I freak out. And then I conduct myself and like, okay, yes, I can do this again. And it's always, you guys are great. And every time I come, there's always 5 or 10 different new people. So if you don't know me, my name is JP. That's short for, this is my initials for my name. It's nothing fancy. It's just, my name is Jonathan Powell. But everywhere I've ever worked in my entire life, I go in like, hey, my name is John or Jonathan, and the next day they're like, hey, JP. And so I'm like, all right, I'm just going to stick with it. My name is JP, and here it is. So anyway, tonight I think you guys have started the Sermon on the Mount. Is that right? Okay. So that's what I studied. So otherwise, we'll figure it out. So I think we're continuing on that. And we're in Matthew chapter 7, verses 1 through 14. And it's about judging rightly, asking, seeking, and knocking. And the Sermon on the Mount is just a cool story in the Bible, about Jesus. He's at this stage in his life and his ministry where he's popular. If it was today, we'd all be, posting about it on Instagram. We'd be live streaming it. All these things. He would be trending. Whatever hashtag, whatever. Sermon on the Mount. That sounds weird to say that, but anyway, that's what was going on. And so he had just fed the 5,000 plus people. He had given them something good to eat, which that brings anybody in, right? You announce that you're having free food tonight, especially college students, you're going to come. And so that's what he was doing. He's feeding them, and then he was teaching them. But what he was teaching, they didn't really want that, right? They wanted entertainment, really. They didn't want something that he was teaching about where it was hard questions that you had to ask yourself, right? Have you ever been like Pastor Darrell now, when he teaches, he challenges us, right? That's not what everybody wants. They want to show up and get fed physically with the meal, and they want to leave happy and excited to go do the rest of their life throughout the week. Well, Jesus wasn't doing that, right? He was feeding them physically with bread and fish and different things, but he was also telling them, there's this road, there's these 2 roads, right? There's this narrow one, there's this wide one, and the one that you need to go down is very narrow, but the one you want to go down, your flesh wants to go down, is very wide and leads to destruction. So that was not, they didn't want to buy what he was selling, right? Like I said, they really wanted entertainment, and does that sound familiar today? We go to church to get entertainment sometimes, right? I'm not saying we do that here, but I have been to churches, I've been to things where, man, I just want to leave feeling good. I just want to go to a show, go to worship and get entertained. Let's get into the Word. I'll quit talking my words and we'll see what Jesus said. So let's read Matthew chapter 7, verses 1 through 14. This first section is on judging others. I'm reading out of the ESV. I know it's hard to keep up with somebody when they have a different translation than you do. So I'm sorry, but there's not a protocol on which version to use. Last time I came in here with the Message version, and y'all about threw me out. Sorry for that. I won't ever do that again. So this is the ESV. Judge not, that you be not judged. For the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged, and with the measure you use it will be measured to you. Why do you see the speck that's in your brother's eye, but you don't notice the log that's in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, let me take that speck out of your eye, when there is the log in your own eye? You hypocrite. First you take the log out of your own eye, then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. Do not give dogs what is holy. Don't throw away your pearls before the pigs, lest they trample them underfoot and turn to attack. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and the one who knocks it will be opened. Or which one of you, if his son has asked him for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for fish, give you a serpent? If you then, who are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him? And this is the golden rule. We've all heard it. So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them, for this is the law and the prophets. Enter by the narrow gate, the gate is wide, the way is easy, leads to destruction, and those who enter by it are many. For the gate is narrow, and the way is hard and leads to life, and those who find it are few. All right, let's start back at the top with judging others. I'm sure everybody wants to talk about that tonight. So, why is it that we can see the problem in other people and not see the same problem in ourselves? Do you think it's like a built-in defense mechanism that makes us feel better about our insecurities, things that we're struggling with? I think it's something like that. And so I was like, what's the psychology behind this? I'm not a psychologist. I didn't major in it, I didn't minor in it, I didn't do anything in it. But I just want to see what a secular thought reasoning is for something like that. So Psychology Today, which I'm sure it was a magazine, now it's a blog or a website, whatever, people that have these types of degrees, it says there's two types of attributions. And attributions, I had to look that up, I know what that was. I'm not real smart, dude. You can get that right now. I went to college, but that's it. That's what it is right there. Attributions are thoughts that we have about others that help us make sense of why people do the things that they do. So that makes sense. And they said there's two types of them. There's situational and there's personality. So situational has to do, let's say you guys are in college, you might have a job. So let's think of a coworker that you see every day in the morning. You get to work or you're in class with them and they are just mean to you for whatever reason. Every day you see them, they're just mean and they're grouchy. I'm grouchy in the morning sometimes. I'm sure we all can be like that. So that's situational. The situational part of it is they're grouchy or mean to you because they didn't get good sleep last night, right? And then the personality side of it is the coworker's mean to you because that's just how they are. That's who they are. My wife, I've been married for 22 years, praise the Lord, and she hasn't divorced me because of my grouchiness in the morning. She's learned to deal with it and give me coffee, and a few minutes later I wake up and it's okay. So that's the two types of attributions, is personality and situation. And we look at that, we make these judgments every day, all the time. And the Psychology Today research has found that people tend to overestimate personality and underestimate the situation when making attributions, especially with people they don't know. So just like tonight, I was driving on the Parkway, and this is judgments happen all the time on the Parkway, right? Judgments of not getting killed and slowing down, and I was just driving along, and close to the intersection where to get off in Governors, to go to the hospital, or go to Bandito Burrito, that's your two options. There's this guy, all of a sudden he just started swerving, he swerved way over, and I was coming this way, and so I got to slow down. And so immediately I judged the guy, right? I'm like, the guy's drunk, the guy's on drugs, he's texting while driving, all these things, and I'm like, what an idiot, Well, I already judged him, right? I was like, man, I just read these verses like for the past week. I should know not to judge this guy, but that's what we do. That's an example of using that. Whereas I didn't even know if it was a guy or a girl because it was dark. He had tinted windows. I I just assumed he was a guy because he was driving a big truck. So whatever the reasoning is, I was judging him. I was like, well, it's close to the airport. He may have, had a heart attack or driving himself there because he had an injury. I didn't go to the nice, I should think nice things first. I went to the opposite side, right? Because, when you're driving, you usually go to that way. And you find yourself, so Gage is 16, he's my second oldest son. So I'm teaching him how to drive right now, right? And so that's the scariest thing in the world. So just thank your parents, whoever taught you how to drive, thank them that they did that, because that is harder than I ever thought it was going to be. He is taking Coach Walker's class, and that's a lot better. And so anyway, so when I ride with him, especially on the parkway, you realize how much your kids listen to you. I'm sure you've all listened to your parents or somebody that raised you, and you take on some of those attributes about them, right? How they interact with people, words and phrases that they say. Hopefully it's not bad words, there's different things, but when he's driving and somebody cuts him off or doesn't use a blinker, he fusses at him. He's like, man, you need to use your blinker next time, you idiot or whatever. Man, where do you pick that up, from me? And so thankfully that's the worst thing he said. Hopefully I don't say anything worse than that, but you don't ever know that. I'm like, wow, that's, now see, he's picking up on those things. But getting back on the judgment part, let's say our brains are wired to make these automatic judgments about others' behaviors. So we can move throughout the world every single day without spending too much time and energy on understanding everything we see. So we're always making these judgments, whether they're cognitive or whatever the other word is, I don't remember. But that's just how we do it. We just make these judgments throughout the day. And a lot of times they're not good judgments about people, right? What about, we all, I'm sure, all use social media, and there's people that you follow on there that you don't know, right? There's probably maybe 90% of the people you follow you don't know. I'm sure you made judgments about them, right? I'm in the film industry, I'm a filmmaker, and so I follow a lot of these types of people, and a lot of people that are making, big films, smaller films. They're way better than I am, and so I follow them, and I perceive judgments about them, like, do I like this person? About the type of posts that they put on there, yes and no, sometimes. Have you ever had the wrong perception of someone? Yeah, I'm sure you have, right? Have you ever been wrong about someone that you follow, and then you meet them, and they're totally opposite of what you thought they were, right? You may have thought they were awesome, and they turned out to be not awesome, and that they, opposite, all that type of thing. That's, what about, is there anything that I'm missing on judging people that we do, or you guys do nowadays, that is different from my generation? That sounds really old, but that's, I'm sure we did it, in my generation, we did it a little bit differently, but is there anything that just stands out to you in these verses that I'm missing, or?
Political party. The
political party, yeah. That's a big one, right? Everybody voted yesterday, I hope. Everybody voted for the right person, I hope, whoever that was. And then, that's right, so now you're like, whoa, which one is he? Is he Democrat? Is he Republican? Is he the other party that nobody votes for? So, and that's the thing, it's like, I don't know why we do it. I guess if we're just built like this. So what do we do in those situations? What do you think we should do? For me, just like tonight, the example I gave, I need to back off a little bit, right? I don't need to be so quick to judge that person's the idiot driver, right? He probably is, but I don't need to go there first, right? People that you really, so I'll give you a good example. So I'm a very competitive person. I played basketball in high school. Some of you probably are into sports, and if you're not into sports, there's something that you're competitive with. You probably all get competition work. I'm very competitive, so as a business owner, I'm even more competitive because I want to provide for my family. I want my business to grow. I want to do good work, right? And I've had to back off on that competition this past year. I don't know if Josh isn't here tonight. Josh Koopman, is that?
Yeah, he's not here.
He's not here. So I was in a meeting with him this past week. We're at, this is pretty lame sounding, but Men of Business group. It's called that. And so it's a bunch of mostly older men that are in business all meet together, and it's like networking. You'll get used to it. It's awful when you get out and you have to do these things. And he was there, and one of the questions was, what has helped your business grow in this past year? Well, for me, it was letting go of the competition and joining up with my competitors. And so some of these people I was following on Instagram that I was like, man, I bet that guy's a jerk. But I like his work. He does a really good job. Man, he's making really good work, and I'm jealous of him because he's doing a better job than I am. You know, all these things. So I met some of them, and they're great people. And now I'm actually doing some work with them. They're not these people that I perceive them to be. They're actually starting to be some of the closest friends that I have right now. And it's amazing, that I had to swallow my pride, I had to step back and realize, yeah, maybe they are better than me. It's okay. Maybe I'll be to that level one day. Maybe not. It doesn't matter. And there's just something about finding victory and facing your own insecurities about things that you may be jealous of from other people, and perception that they put out. And they may be fighting some battles that are really, really tough. They may be putting these things out there about themselves to build themselves up, and they may just be struggling. They don't look like they're struggling, but they may be. And us as Christians, going back to Jesus, what he was saying, said, "Judge not, that be not judged." Because you're going to be judged with that same measure. And when you easily point out somebody else's problems, and you can't see the one that's so glaring it's even in your own eye. That's hard. It really is hard. But there's victory. If you make that a choice, if you make that a priority to do that, you know what? I'm not going to judge this person. Everything he puts on Instagram, I never like it because I don't want to give him that like. Well, give him the like. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Hit the like button. Actually making it if they're local, reach out to them. Actually meet them. Find out what they're really like, and try not to go in with these ill-perceived ideas that they're jerks or anything. And if they aren't nice, it's okay. There's a million other people in Huntsville. It's not the end of the world. Let's keep going. Let's go into verse 6. This verse, I didn't really know what it meant for a long time. And I may still have it wrong, but I think I got it figured out now. So it says, "Do not give dogs what is holy, and don't throw your pearls before pigs or swine, lest they trample them underfoot and turn to attack." So it's talking about don't persist in offering what is sacred or something that's of value to those that don't have any appreciation for it. Because your gift, we all have gifts, right? They're going to become contaminated or despised, and your generous efforts could also be rebuffed and even openly attacked. So I don't know what everybody's gift is. I I don't even know what my gifts are. Sometimes people tell me what my gifts are. But the dogs and the swine in this are people that are unappreciative, are worldly, or people just don't care about what's valuable when something is offered to them. So think of a dog, right? I have 2 dogs. I've got a big dog and a little dog. And both of them are, if I put a raw steak down the ground, they're going to attack it like nobody's business, right? They don't care if that steak came from Costco, which has really nice cuts of meat, or if it came from the garbage that was some kind of contaminated meat that had E. coli and, we threw out because it had worms growing. They don't care. They don't care where it came from. They smell meat and they're going to attack you. Same way with a pig, right? Has anybody ever seen a pig in real life? So most of you have. I saw a big pig. I don't know what that's called, but it was a big pig about a year ago. I mean, this thing was massive. I didn't know pigs were that big. And it made me really appreciate bacon and what they offer. But it was just so big. But it stunk. You could smell the pig from the parking lot. It's just that bad. It's like, how did something so good come from something so nasty? But it's the same way with the pig. They don't care. It says, it's talking about pearls. Pearls are expensive. I haven't priced pearls recently because my wife doesn't really wear them. Does anybody know how much is it a string of pearls? That sounds weird. Or is it a necklace or what? Let's just say they're a lot of money. Right? Just say. They come out of oysters, right? Is that how you get them? That's amazing. God was messing with us. But so if you threw some fine jewelry down and you threw some cornflakes down and mix it together, the pig's going to eat all of it. They just eat anything. They don't care. And I don't know how their stomachs digest all that, or even if they do, I don't know. I don't know how it all works. But they don't care either. They don't. It's so Jesus is talking about this is like, he made it quite clear to his disciples later on in Matthew chapter 10. It said, hey, when you move to a city, you go to a city and there's no interest in the gospel, just keep moving on. Don't sit there. You're not going to persuade them. And then Paul said the same thing and continued this in practice in Acts 13 and Acts 18. And Jesus was talking about, if they don't accept you, just wipe the dust off your feet and keep going. And I started thinking, and this may not happen anymore because I'm older than you guys, but it made me immediately think of like when I was in high school and you see these beautiful girls, right? There's these girls that, just like, wow, they're so beautiful. Why are they with such losers? You ever, does that still happen? Okay, so that's not a new thing or an old thing. And you start realizing, and you talk to them, or you find out later that these girls have been, whatever the case, the guy is just so overpowering and so demanding, and his abused her emotionally to think that she can't get anybody better than him, right? I'm like, man, how did he do that? These girls, and I can't think of a good example, and you guys are obviously coming up with your own, but that's the same way. It's like, man, you may be stuck in a job that's really bad, and you think, man, I'm not good enough to get another job. Or you may be stuck in another relationship. Man, I can't get out of this one because it's the best I'm ever going to have. That's not what you need to think. God has given you so many good gifts, right? And He doesn't want you to just settle, right? You guys are this is the prime of your life. You probably heard that. But it really is. You're figuring out who you are, what you want to do with your life, who you want to be with for the rest of your life. big choices. Those are big decisions. And for you to just kind of wake up and just like, well, whatever happened today, that's not how you need to approach it. Because you'll end up becoming married to a dog, married to a pig, and you wake up like, man, this is not a good life. So, and, if you see somebody like that, like, man, how did they get to that situation where you're stuck with this jerk? Wake them up. If they're stuck in these relationships, I don't know how to get people out of that, so I have no advice. But maybe you're a better persuasive person to do that. I don't know. It's just it's something that came to me when I was reading this, and it really stuck with me because I hate to hear that it still happens, but you definitely deserve better. And the thing is, these gifts are not ours. They're really God's. He's given them to you, and He's asked you to be a good steward. Right? It's a possession that He's given you, and for you to just waste it is not good. You really need ask for discernment on how to use it. Right? If you're good at speaking, and you're too scared to get up there, take some classes. One of the best classes I took in college was public speaking, or speech class. Excuse me. I saw some really weird speeches. I don't think people could do that, but then you realize, in college it's different. So, I won't go into any detail, and I don't want to talk about it. It's to say there's things you can't unsee. And you're all like, what the heck is he talking about? Sorry for that. I don't like leaving spoilers or hanging, whatever, but it's just, you really don't need to be talking. So, any questions on that? Anything you want to add to that part? Any examples on wasting your talents or wasting?
I think it can also be interpreted as literally wasting what you have. For instance, the Bible encourages us to help the poor, and it encourages us to reach out and help people. However, you're going to encounter people who take that for granted and who abuse it. So with that, I feel like it's almost a way of freedom of saying, yes, you do need to help them, but if they're not treating it correctly, and if they're not doing with it what they're supposed to, then it's okay to stop. That's how I've always understood it, at least.
That's really good. I like that.
I guess I'll add one more thing, JP.
Sure.
Something that I've been learning this year is that there's so many different things that Jesus tells us to do in here, but all of those are walking with the Spirit and whatever that might be. Because if we go running around using canned example, giving to every poor person we see, that's quite possibly a lot of that's not through the Spirit, and then we're not being empowered, and then, so it's God's not even present in that. So
absolutely. That's spot on what you both said. It made me think of a good example. There was this man. We used to live right across the street in this neighborhood over here, and there's this man that would come by a lot and ask him for money. And I was like, I can't give you just money. And he's like, well, I'll do some work. And so through the years, he would come by and say, what can I do to get some money? And I'd give him a job to do or whatever. And I remember, and I'd like to think of myself as a generous person sometimes. And I think at this time, he just hit me on a day that I just felt very generous or something. That was close to, I think it was close to Easter, one of them, yeah. Do you remember when the tornadoes hit, 2011, I think it was, or something? So, I think that was around Easter, maybe Christmas, I don't know, whatever. Is it close to Easter? Okay, something like that crazy. Anyway, he'd come by and did some work, and he was always real good at, hey, can you give me a little bit more? Hey, can you give me that bike, too? And I'd give it to him like a dummy, and it'd be my kid's bike, Daddy, where's our bike? And I'm like, I gave it to Mr. Jackson. And they're like, why? I don't know. It's just, I was so, whatever was wrong with it. Anyway, I remember taking him home, And he's like, I need to stop by the store and get some groceries. I was like, okay. And so I ended up buying this guy like $300 worth of groceries. And I don't know what grocery store it was, but it wasn't like your Walmart or Kroger. So I feel like we got a lot of stuff for $300. And so then I took him back to where he lived, and we loaded it all up. And I was thinking, man, I'm so good. You know, I'm helping this guy and his family out, and we didn't load it. He puts it all up, and then the tornadoes come, right? And nobody has power for a week and stuff. And I'm thinking, I bet he's eating that stuff, and he's just having a good time feeding his family. Like 2 weeks later, he's back, and I'm like, how's it going? He's like, all that food you bought me spoiled. I'm like, what? I was like, what? Did you not eat it? Did you not do it? He's like, no, we couldn't. We had so much we couldn't eat it all. And you know, I was like, well, you lived in a place where you could have gave it away. He's like, I'm not giving it to these people. I'm like, so you just let the food rot? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, man. And so I was like, I just wasted $300 and some bites. I gave him my favorite hat too. Still remember that dang hat, and still mad about that. And so that was a great example to me of giving like stuff and just I was not led by the Spirit. We'll say that right there. I was not using discernment. I was not using anything. I was going off of feelings, right? And so today we vote off of feelings. We date people off of feelings. We get into messes off of feelings. And that is exactly what happened to me right there. And I was an idiot. And I will never forget that. And I will never do that again. And I'll have to learn the hard way. I don't know if you guys are like that. That's how I have to learn, and I hate it. So hopefully as I get older, that changes. Hopefully one day it all makes sense. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get back into God's Word. Let's talk about the asking part. 7 through 11. So most people here that, some of you been here, you may be religious, you may be atheist, I don't know what you are. I don't know all of you. But most people, religious or non-religious, have experienced the pain of unanswered prayer. I'm sure every one of you can raise your hand and say there's a prayer or something that you called out to God on that He hasn't answered, right? And if you've ever heard of Ravi Zacharias, he's one of the great apologists. He said that is one of the greatest mysteries that we won't ever have the answer to, is unanswered prayer. And that's something that when we meet our Maker, when we meet God, we can ask Him about that. But these prayers could be prayers for God's protection, God's healing, intervention. Some of us, some family members have suffered accidents, illnesses, death. If you've ever heard of the great poet Emily Dickinson, she says this. She says, "It comes an hour when begging stops, when the long interceding lips perceive their prayer is vain. Even if the divine answers wait, the months and years of waiting can stretch on interminably, making the most patient intercessor wonder what good gift could come in the endless waiting." Waiting's hard, right? Yeah, waiting's hard. Especially the more advanced our technology gets, things just happen faster and easier and quicker and cheaper. It really makes waiting hard. But waiting on God is something we can't speed up. We can't make it go faster. We can't make Him answer us clear or faster or anything like that. But the Bible talks about that. It says the Bible makes it clear that pain does not go unnoticed in God's eyes. Psalms 56 speaks of God as figuratively storing up our tears in a bottle. And in the book of Revelation, it talks about looking forward to the day when God will wipe away all of our tears. But in the meantime, it's okay to cry, right? I'm a crier. Jesus was a crier, yeah, documented. it's okay to question God. Do you think the God who created this whole world, this whole universe, can handle us getting upset with him? Absolutely. I mean, he can also squish us. But I don't think he deals with things like we do, right? We're very reactive. The Bible talks about God being patient and everything. He is such a patient God. And it's okay to throw all of our griefs and lament, at his feet. And a good portion of Scripture even talks about that. It says in Psalms 55:17, it talks about every evening and morning and at noon, I will complain and murmur, and God will hear my voice. Right? I mean, that is me right there. I don't know about you guys, but I complain. I'm a big baby. I am just, when things don't go my way, I'm like, God, what has happened? I thought you loved me. I thought, people like me. I thought, what is wrong? And then he reminds me that, hey, just chill out, settle down. And it's encouraging, or what's encouraging about this song is that even when we're angry with God and embittered against God's seeming indifference in our prayers, this does not put us out of God's reach and out of his presence. So, you've all heard that the only thing that separates us from God is sin, right? And that's true. God doesn't move. We're the ones that move. We're the ones that can separate ourselves from him. And that's the same thing. It's just, I don't know why God hasn't answered your prayer. I don't know why he hasn't answered some of my prayers. Is that going to stop me from keep praying and asking and seeking and knocking? No, it's not. It may cause me not to do it as often as I should, but it's still, you've heard about people earnestly praying and praying hard, and it's like, pray hard, this happens, or, can you pray hard? Like you see people, they're praying hard, and, we talk about Jesus, when he prayed in the garden, he sweat, and his blood coming out. I mean, I don't know if God hears it any better when you pray like that, or when you just pray silently and in a calm manner. I'm not sure on that. I feel like God hears everything. I don't think it's, So I'm just saying, don't give up. That's what I want to tell you. Don't give up. Don't give up on God. And if you got a question, ask him. I realized that recently that, I'm just going to ask God. Sometimes I just talk to him like he's sitting in the car. And I'll just talk out loud. And obviously he doesn't talk back audibly, because that would scare me to death. I mean, everybody says, we're all talking about God and how Jesus is, the relationship. That's the difference between Christianity and any other religion, is the relationship that you have with Jesus and how he chose to have that. And so I'm treating it like a real relationship sometimes, in that manner of talking to him. And you know what? He does talk back. He talks back when I read his word. He talks back when I have my quiet time. I just encourage you to do that. Just don't give up on it. There's something that's just, causing you to run away from God, because he's not instantly answering your prayer. In the last section, we talk about the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Bob Passantino from Apologetics 3:15 talks about, he says the golden rule is really the minimalist argument. It's like the minimal thing that you can do to somebody, right? If I wanted to treat, Trevor, the least I could do to him is treat him like I'd like to be treated, right? He says that there's another thing that he calls the maximalist argument. He calls it the platinum rule. And this is in Philippians 2:3. He says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourselves. Right? Man, what if we did that? What if I treated my enemies, people that don't like me, people on the media. What if I did that to people? What, you think the world would be a better place? Absolutely. But it's never going to happen. I don't think. Not until Jesus comes and wipes away all the sin. But Jesus himself provided that best example, better than the golden rule when he sacrificed himself willingly. He said, while we were sinners, Christ died for us. Right? He didn't have to do that. He really didn't. And to know that he did that, and did that willingly, right? Have you ever done something that you were kind of made to do, and then you did something, man, you volunteered for it, you knew it was going to be bad? I mean, he did it. He didn't even bat an eye. And then he talks about these two gates, right? There's two roads. And one gate is wide, the road is wide, it's the gate that leads to destruction. And we have that all around us, right? If I ask Trevor, like, hey Trevor, find me a news article about something bad that happened today. Yeah, 5 seconds, right? If I said, hey Trevor, find me a news article of something good that happened today. I don't know if you can find it, for one. You might know a website that only puts good news out, but it would be hard, right? I mean, just scrolling through news articles and anything, you're not going to find it. But if we wanted to screw up, if you're like, man, I'm sick of this Christianity, I'm sick of Jesus, he's not answering my prayers, and you just wanted to go out and just have fun for a night and be in sin, and like, you know what, this life doesn't matter, I can do that, there's not a real God, blah, blah, blah. It wouldn't take you 5 minutes to go get into trouble, right? You could just do that and get on your phone right now. There's nothing stopping you, right? But if you wanted to do what Jesus talked about, if you want to know that Jesus is really real, and that he really loves you, and all these things do matter, right? It's not just some fake book, that we're all reading and we're believing. I know you guys are like hard to convince. That's like the motto of your generation. It's like you got to prove it, you got to live it, you got all these things. You guys we don't just tell you these things. You go and search and figure it out, and make sure that I'm not giving you a bunch of baloney. Then do that. Search. Knock. Find out if this is true or not. Find out if Jesus is who he said he is. Right? I mean, all these people came and listened to him. He fed them. Well, then they went away, right? Then they put him on a cross. And they were the same ones that were in the crowd saying crucify him. He just fed them not too long ago. That gate to the eternal life is small. It's hard to find. You may be searching right now and like, man, I can't find the gate, the road that leads to life. All I see is death and destruction around me. You got friends that are committing suicide or contemplating it. You got friends that are heavily into drugs and alcohol, abusing all of it. You're like, well, that's where my family was. They all did that, and that means I'll probably do that road too. No. When Jesus came, he destroyed all these curses and things that happened in your previous generations, past. All that curse is gone. My oldest son is Sean. He's not legally our son, but we unofficially adopted him when he was 18. So that was like 4 years ago. So I asked him, I said, hey Sean, do you want to be officially adopted into our family and have the last name of Powell, and his last name's Cherry? And he thought about it, he thought about it, he's like, he calls me father, which is kind of funny. He says, Father, he said, he's like, I want to keep my last name. He's like, I want to make that last name good again, And Dad spoke to me. It really touched me because his dad is not a good dad. His dad's addicted to drugs and he's done some horrible things and continues to make a lot of bad choices. And just for Deshaun to say that I want to break that sin curse. You know, if his dad's not a believer, obviously, but that could be broken with him if he did. But Deshaun is a believer, and he has that power to break that sin curse because Jesus came and died for that, right? And we have that power. He, you know, when he went back to heaven, he gave us that gift of the Holy Spirit. So when he said, yes, I believe in Christ and I want to follow him and make him Lord of my life, he gave you that power to overcome sin and death. With the Holy Spirit, we can ask these questions. We can search and he'll give us these answers. It may not come today, it may not come tomorrow, whatever. Just keep searching, guys. I feel for you guys, I really do. I love this age, and I just remember this age when I was young and free and whatever, and learning, trying to figure out what I want to do in my life. And I just know you guys are in a tough situation, and if you don't know what you want to do and all these things, don't give up. Don't make these choices so light. You know, you've got time. I thought I didn't have time. I had to make a decision to choose this major. If I didn't, I was going to be stuck in school for another so many years or whatever. It's okay. You know, I know some people that don't graduate college till they're 40. So it's don't do that. But it's not to the end of the world. And I don't have it all figured out yet either. And that's okay. You know, God does, and that's who I serve. So I'm thankful for you guys tonight. I really am. If you ever need somebody to talk to and give you some bad advice and hopefully give you some good advice too or whatever, or if you just need somebody to listen, I'd be glad to. That's a gift. My wife says I'm a good listener. So that's free. I don't know about that. I'm glad Tom asked me back sometimes. So like I said, I love being around you guys. It really, I don't know, you guys have my heart, man. I really love you guys. It's just a blessing to be around y'all and to see how much energy you have. And I just want to encourage you not to give up. Just keep grinding, as you guys say. I don't know what happened now. To pray or lay hands.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pray.
Okay,
I'll lead us out.
I'm about to lay hands on everybody.
I mean, if you want to, that's
No,
fine.
I've never done that. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I just thank you. I just thank you for laughter, Lord. It's good to laugh. It's so good that you love us and you do care for us, and you hear every prayer we've ever said to you. It doesn't go unnoticed. You don't turn your back on us, Lord. We may not have the answers to why things don't get answers from you, but Lord, you work everything in your perfect will, in your perfect way, Lord. And we trust you and you for that. Lord, I just pray there's somebody here tonight. It's like, who is Jesus? Why should I choose him? Lord, I just pray that they will see and they will find. Be made known to them. Lord, I just pray for protection over all these young people's minds tonight. Lord, I just pray that all the stuff that the media just comes to throw their minds and their eyes, Lord, I just pray that you just bind the devil from them. Lord, I just pray that you just be made known to them, make it clear what's your purpose and your will is for their life. We love you, and we can never thank you enough for your free gift of salvation, that you sacrificed yourself so that we can live again and that we can have eternal life. That's a really long time, Lord. We thank you for that, Lord. We love you so much. Thank you for Jesus. In his name we pray.